Hey, beautiful people. This is Mentor Shelley coming to you from the Healthy and Fabulous Movement channel. As a person that advocates for better health, I wanted to have my first-hand opinion. I've been hearing a lot about this documentary called What's the Health. You see it pictured here on my desktop. I've been, just really been looking at, there's some things that I saw, that I agree with. And there are things, it could go either way. Whenever you put out something that is going to go against the grain in any way, shape, or form, there's always going to be somebody that goes against it. There's always going to be different differentiations of opinion. I just want to put mine out there and give you guys a sense of what I personally think, based on my own personal experience with, I'm on my own health journey at this point, as well as you guys. And I want to bring to your attention that a lot of what I learned from this film and from this documentary, I agreed with. Some of it I didn't, just based on just understanding from my, previous years in anatomy and physiology, and just understanding how the metabolism works. I didn't agree with some of it. But here's what I always do. And anything that I'm looking at that provides good information, that provides information that can help anyone, especially if you're looking to improve your health. I've always been a proponent of, before you say, oh, this is what's wrong with it, find the things that you can use and add it on to the library of things that you can implement in your life to make sure that your health is going to be improved. So here are some of the points of reference that I picked up, and some of them I agreed with, some of them I'm kind of on, but for the most part, I can definitely use the information to better my own personal health, which is really what this is all about anyway. Um, in the documentary, they classified processed meats as a class 1 carcinogen, which would be the same as cigarettes. I've done previous research and previous studies into meat and different things like that. To some degree, I agree, and from what I understand, as much as I am personally a meat lover, I don't necessarily think it's best to always consume a whole lot. Um, I on I personally am cutting back on meat till I get to a place where I'm not going to need it anymore. So that's just my own personal health journey. They said something very interesting about chicken. They said chicken is the number one source of sodium and carcinogens. Um, there are some funky things going on with the meat these days that can give you that type of opinion. I'm still on the fence with that. I'd have to do my own personal research to kind of see where that stands. But right now, I'm slowly but surely taking a back seat as far as meat's concerned. Just from a natural perspective, I love meat, but I also have to consider what's healthiest. Is it healthiest for me to continue to consume something that may potentially harm me in the end? Yep. So that was point number one. They talked about processed meat. They talked about diabetes and how meat is the number one driver for diabetes. And I completely disagree with that, because if we understand the molecular structure of how diabetes comes to be, it has a lot to do with your insulin and your levels of insulin. Insulin is driven not by, yes, it is, protein can trigger insulin, but the number one trigger for insulin is the levels of sugar in your system. So the way it was defined, I think it needs to be, you know, they were treading a huge line there, and I think truly that in giving that blanket meaning and saying that this causes that without further clarification or taking into consideration all facets of what causes diabetes, Um, I just thought they could have expounded on it a whole lot more than just giving a blanket statement about meat and it causing diabetes and things of that nature. Um, we also understand. I don't know if you're familiar with a lot of health terms of what insulin does. Insulin, the primary job of insulin is to take sugar out of the system and produce fat cells. So the less insulin you have running around, the better. There are other ways, outside of, their proportion of taking meat out of your diet. There's also other things that trigger insulin. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Of course, I'm going to tell you up front right now, I am not a health expert. I am a person doing my very best to travel on the health journey just like everybody else. It takes work, it takes time, and it takes research to figure out what works for you. And I'm always a proponent of, let's see what happens when I try this versus taking everybody else's opinion on some particular issue, whether it be diverse or agreeable. They did have they had a comprehensively negative view on dairy products. I personally, um, I don't denounce dairy products as a whole. I personally don't do that, but I know for a fact that when dairy products enters my body doesn't necessarily like it. I have a very strong allergic reaction to dairy products. So that's just my take on it. So it would behoove me as an individual to stay away from it if I have an allergic reaction. Not speaking against the industry in any way, shape, or form. Please don't take it the wrong way. But that's just my personal reaction to it. So I personally stay away from it for the most part because of the allergic effects it has on my body. Um, I found it interesting, and I also found it, I'm not shocked, but I also found it very disturbing that the all of the organizations, the Food and Drug Administration, the American Cancer Association, the American Diabetes Association, were all the USDA, all of those organizations. I don't understand. Maybe it's my naivete, but I'm not understanding why, if someone is asking the question, that one of the representatives from either of those organizations can sit down and talk to the young man. He's asking about food. Yes, I understand that nutrition plays a vital role in all of the diseases that they represent. And I understand money is involved. But sitting down and having a conversation can't harm anyone, can it? Maybe I'm being naive. I just found that very, to be quite honest with you, disappointing that none of those organizations representatives wanted to actually sit down and have a conversation about his research. They may even have done it privately and said, okay, well, make this statement, but nobody was willing to talk on camera. I don't know. There may be more to that, more to it than that. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a young lady doing her best to achieve the best health that it possibly can on a daily basis. Not trying to, rule the world here. Just doing what I can to maintain better health. That's it. I don't expect those organizations to address, dietary recommendations. I expect us as individuals. Um, I'm an adult. I don't expect those organizations to take responsibility for what I put in my mouth. But what I do expect is for them to take responsibility for the recommendations that are made and the effects those have on people. Now, if you're making a recommendation, is it scientifically proven? Is there something to back up the standards? Those type of things. I just found it very, to be honest, disappointing. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. So here's what I learned from What's the Health. I learned that, like we always knew, fruits and vegetables, live foods are better for you than dead ones. Ta-da! Surprise! We all know that. Now, we all know that, but here's the thing. We can all know that, but do we implement that in our lives? Now there's a question. As you know, the Fluffy and Fabulous movement is all about taking care of your health, knowing you're an asset, not just in mind, not only in spirit, but also in body, knowing you're an asset when the world treats you as a liability. So what I pulled from this particular documentary and others that I've watched other ones, Educated and other ones, advocating truly for us to truly, if you live on live foods, we'll stay alive longer. So at the end of the day, if this is not something, I am no food expert. Let me just put that disclaimer in there now. I am no food expert. I'm just simply giving my review and what I learned from watching myself. I have a lot of hashtags on healthy life, healthy life, healthy life. I don't just talk about that. I actually do my best on a regular basis to get in the gym or to go outside or to put in the work that it takes to get better health. Don't let the size fool you. I may put you to shame in the gym. You should check out some of my other videos. So this is just my opinion on What's the Health. And for anybody that's going to watch it, I always say watch it with an open mind. And also watch it understanding that the information, the intention of the information is to really educate us all to establish a better, healthy lifestyle for all of us. That's really what I got from it. And I hope you get some benefits from it too. There's some things, of course, that we're not all going to agree with because each individual thinks differently. So I do want you guys to understand that, this is just my opinion. I'm not a health expert by no means. I've read many books about health, but of course, health is something that we have to personally tailor to our own individual physical, mental, and spiritual needs. So this is the Fluffy and Fabulous movement leader coming to you just to give you my opinion on What's the Health and how it has impacted me. I'm doing my best to slowly, maybe not to put so much dead animal in this body, and to drift towards more live foods. The more live foods we eat, the more alive and healthier we get. I'm going to leave you with that. You guys have a good one, and if you want to connect with me on social media, you can email me at fluffyandfabulous3@gmail.com, or you can also connect with me on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Fluffy and Fabulous Movement, or also on Twitter, Fluffy and Fab at Fluffy and Fab. I also have a Tumblr that's fluffyandfabulous.tumblr.com. You guys, we're all in this together. Let's just do what we can do on a regular basis, not just 1 or 2 times, but on a daily basis to truly live a healthier life. Have a good one.